Today we're going to work with polynomials and multiplying them. Now there are many different ways to learn how to multiply polynomials. My personal favorite is the FOIL method. So we're going to learn about how to do the FOIL method in our examples today. And you do this with binomials. So when you have two binomials, this is what you will use. So the FOIL method is pretty much spelled out with you right here. So if you're multiplying two binomials, this is what you would do. FOIL is an acronym, and it stands for first term, outer terms, inner terms, and last terms. So in this example, the first thing you would do is multiply the first terms together. X times x is x squared. Then you would have the outer term, so x times 2 is 2x. The inner terms are 1 times x, which is x. And then the last terms are 1 times 2, which is 2. Then what you would do is combine your like terms by adding them together. So basically it's just the 2x and the x that create 3x, and then your final answer is a polynomial that's given. And that's your answer. So we're going to go ahead and do these examples together to get it going. So remember the FOIL method. The first thing you do is multiply the first terms. So we have x squared. Then the outer terms. So that is x times 5. Well, that's a positive 5x. Then we have our inner terms, which is 2 times x, which is a positive 2x. And then our last terms in each binomial, which is 2 and 5. So when you multiply it, it's a positive 10. Then all you do is combine your like terms. So it's really usually our middle numbers, our x's. So we have our final answer of x squared plus 7x plus 10, and that is your final answer. So now we're going to do one more example before you guys go off on your own. So again, we're going to FOIL. So the F in FOIL stands for the first, so x times x is x squared. Then we have the outer, the O stands for outer, so x times negative 4, think about that as a negative 4, is negative 4x. Then we have the inner, and that is 3 times x, which is positive 3x. Then we have our last, which is 3 times negative 4, which is negative 12. Now we again go ahead and combine our like terms. And so we have x squared, negative 4x plus 3x is negative 1x. And then you bring your negative 12 down, and that is your answer. Go ahead and try these next 4 problems on your own using the FOIL method and see if your answers are correct. All right, so these are the answers that you guys should have received. Make sure you check to make sure your signs are correct. That is very, very important. And there you go. I think it's very important for you guys to practice a lot. So I want you guys to go ahead and do the next examples on your own as well. These do involve a little more mental math, and I hope that you guys use that. There is one problem with fractions, but don't be worried. Go ahead and keep practicing, FOIL these different binomials out, and we will come back and check our answers. All right, these are the answers that I received. Make sure yours are the same and try to see where some of your mistakes might have fallen. Now we're going to multiply a binomial with a trinomial. Now it's hard to FOIL this way, so what I end up doing is I distribute. So the first thing I do is I take my first term in my binomial, which is an x, and I go ahead and distribute this and multiply it through. So instead of x times x squared, it becomes x to the third. Then x times negative 3x is negative 3x squared. Then x times negative 2 is negative 2x. Now I go ahead and do it with my 5. So I have 5 times x squared is a positive 5x squared. 5 times negative 3x is a negative 15x. And then 5 times negative 2 is a negative 10. What's left to do now is to go ahead and combine our like terms like we have done in the past. So there's only one x cubed, but we go ahead and underline everything so we see what is the same and what is different. It helps us with our final answer. So we put it in standard form, so that means we have our highest degree of a term first. So we have x cubed, and then we have Let's see, negative 3x squared plus 5x squared is a positive 2x squared. Then we have negative 2x minus 15x, it's negative 17x. And then we have just our negative 10. So by combining all that together, this is our answer. Go ahead and try to do these next two on your own. Check back and see if your answers are correct. All right, this is the answer that I received on both. So in purple was when I multiplied the first term out and distributed out to the trinomial. The orange is when I distributed out the second term to the trinomial. And then the green, that's your final answer after you combine your like terms. Now we're going to use what we know to go ahead and answer a few real-life scenarios. So in this real-life application we have, in hockey, a goalie behind the goal line can only play a puck in a trapezoidal region. So we're given this trapezoidal region over here on the right, and it says write a polynomial that represents the area of the trapezoidal region. So I gave you guys the equation for the area of a trapezoid to help us out. So what we need to do is figure out what A and B are and the height. Well, A is the top side of the top of our trapezoid, B is the bottom, and then H is the height right here. So we're just going to plug it all in. So we have A equals, so we have our A, which is x plus, then the binomial of B, which is x plus 10. So it's the top and bottom basically of the trapezoid. We divide that by 2, and then we multiply by our height, which is x minus 7. I'm going to put that in parentheses. So now let's go ahead and simplify this. So we have x and x. We're going to just simplify this whole left side of this problem to be 2x plus 10 divided by 2 times x minus 7. Let's simplify that side even more by dividing everything by 2. So we have x plus 5 times x minus 7. And now I hope you guys realize we're going to FOIL this. So go ahead and FOIL this out. So we have our first items, which is x squared, our outer, which is negative 7x, our inner, which is positive 5x, and our last, which is negative 35. I'm going to draw an arrow here. So when we simplify this and combine our like terms, our final answer of this polynomial is x squared minus 2x minus 35. Now we're going to use this because it says for B, find the area of the trapezoidal region when the shorter base is 18 feet. So what we're doing is, if the shorter base is 18 feet, that means x equals 18 feet, which also means all we have to do is plug in 18 for x in this whole scenario. So we have 18 squared minus 2 times 18 minus 35. So as we go ahead and solve, 18 squared is 324. I'm going to rewrite everything else. We're doing order of operations. I go ahead and multiply, and we get 324 minus 36 minus 35. And then we go ahead and simplify even more to solve and see what the actual area of this is. So as we do that, I get the final answer of 253 square feet. Remember, we label area as squared. And that's your answer.